You know those tough, overlooked plants you see everywhere? The ones clinging to life in forgotten corners or pushing up through a crack in the pavement? Yeah, we usually just call them weeds and we move on. But what if you looked at one of those plants and didn't see a nuisance, but saw security, saw your family's dinner for the next 20 years? Well, for medieval farmers, that wasn't some fantasy, it was a reality. All thanks to a plant they treated like royalty. Okay, let's get into this.
No, really, just think about that for a second. You go out into your garden one afternoon, you plant one thing, and that's it. You're done. For the next 2 decades, maybe even longer, that single plant just keeps giving you food. In our world of having to till and seed and replant every single year, it just sounds impossible, right? Like something out of a science fiction novel. But this isn't a story from the future. It's a forgotten story from our deep past.
And this wasn't just some random vegetable, oh no. It was so dependable, so nourishing, so central to life that people gave it a name that showed just how much they respected it. They called it Good King Henry. Not just a king, mind you, but a good king. A ruler of the garden that just provided for its people season after season without ever failing. It was the secret backbone of the kitchen garden, hiding in plain sight for centuries.
So what earned it that royal status? Well, it's not just that it lives for so long. The real magic of Good King Henry is how generous it is. From one single root system, it gives you 3 completely different kinds of food all through the growing season. I mean, it's like having 3 different vegetables all rolled into one super hardy, easy to care for plant. It's a biological marvel that we've almost completely forgotten.
So let's just walk through a year with the king. It all starts in early April, usually way before your other garden plants have even woken up. It sends up these thick, tender shoots that look and taste a whole lot like asparagus. Then by early summer, the plant shifts gears. It starts producing tons of these big, arrow-shaped leaves that you can cook up and eat just like spinach. But it's not done yet. In late summer, it makes these tiny flower heads that give you a protein-rich grain, a very close cousin to quinoa. So you're getting asparagus, spinach, and quinoa, all from one plant. It's incredible.
And this is the part that really changes the game. This isn't a one-and-done deal. Good King Henry is a true perennial. A single plant can easily keep producing for over 20 years, and honestly, some have been known to go on for much, much longer. Each year, its deep taproot just burrows further down, mining minerals from deep in the soil that other plants can't even reach. It just gets stronger and more productive over time. It's an investment that literally grows more valuable with age. Okay, this is where the story gets really fascinating and frankly a little bit tragic. Because in forgetting about Good King Henry, we didn't just lose a cool multi-harvest plant. We walked away from a nutritional gold mine. I mean, when you put the hard data side by side, the comparison between this ancient staple and our modern supermarket greens isn't just surprising, it's mind-blowing.
So let's talk about iron. You know, the mineral that helps carry oxygen through your body, gives you energy. A normal serving of spinach from the store has about 2.7 milligrams of iron, which is pretty good. But Good King Henry, it clocks in at a massive 12 to 15 milligrams. To put that in perspective, you would need to eat a mountain of almost 5 full servings of regular spinach just to get the same amount of iron you'd find in one modest portion of Good King Henry.
And this is where our modern food knowledge gets kind of weird. We're all taught drink milk for strong bones, right? Because of the calcium? Well, a glass of whole milk has about 113 milligrams of calcium per 100 grams. This humble little weed, Good King Henry, has between 300 and 340 milligrams. That is 3 times more calcium. It's a bone-building factory that grows in your yard and asks for pretty much nothing in return. Okay, so what's the catch? It sounds a little too good to be true, and there is one very, very important rule. You cannot eat it raw. Just like its relatives, we're talking spinach, chard, and beets. Good King Henry has these compounds called oxalates. And like quinoa, it has saponins, which can taste bitter and soapy if you don't cook them. But this isn't a flaw, it's just the plant's natural defense system. And our ancestors knew exactly how to deal with it.
And the solution is so simple. It's something people just knew for centuries. You just have to cook it. That's it. A few minutes of steaming or boiling is all it takes. The heat completely gets rid of the bitter saponins and drastically reduces the oxalates, which then just get poured away with the cooking water. It's this simple, ancient piece of kitchen chemistry that completely transforms the plant and unlocks all of that incredible nutrition safely.
And this is the question that hangs over everything, isn't it? I mean, if this plant is a perennial, multi-harvest, nutritional giant that's easy to grow, why isn't it in every grocery store? Why did it just vanish from our plates and our memories? Well, the answer has very little to do with the plant itself, and everything to do with how our modern food system is built.
See, the king's downfall wasn't one single event. It was this slow-motion collapse, driven by these powerful new forces in the 20th century. It started with a business model for agriculture that just couldn't make money from a plant that lives forever. Then it got sped up by a cultural obsession with speed and convenience. And finally, the deal was sealed by a chemical war against any plant that was labeled a weed.
Just look at the two totally different ways of thinking here. On one hand, you have the king's logic. It's the logic of a forest, an ecosystem. You plant it once, it puts down deep roots, and it becomes this permanent, self-sufficient part of your life. You can even dig up a piece and share it with your neighbors for free. Then you have the factory's logic, which is what powers our food system today. It's like an assembly line. It needs a yearly cycle. Buy the seeds, plant them, harvest, then do it all over again next year. It's a system built for commerce, not for permanence.
And this quote it nails the economic problem. A plant, like Good King Henry, breaks that yearly cycle of buying things. Look, from a business perspective, a plant that you only have to sell to a person once in their entire lifetime, that's a terrible business model. The system that went out was based on selling you something new every single year. A permanent plant just doesn't fit. And those economic pressures got supercharged by a cultural revolution after World War II. The 1950s brought us the age of convenience. The dream was a life with minimal effort, TV dinners, instant cake mixes, canned everything. And in this shiny new world, a plant where you had to peel the shoots or boil the leaves for a few minutes, well, that just felt old-fashioned. It felt like work, a connection to a past that everyone was trying to leave behind.
So the plant's reputation was slowly rewritten. What was once a reliable staple became famine food, or poor man's food, something you'd only eat if you were desperate. And its greatest strength, its stubborn ability to grow almost anywhere, suddenly became a weakness. It was just another weed of disturbed ground. And with the invention of broad-spectrum herbicides, which were designed to create these perfectly uniform fields, Good King Henry, along with countless other useful plants, was simply sprayed out of existence.
But here is the beautiful part of this story. The king isn't gone for good. He's just waiting. It is totally possible to bring Good King Henry back into our gardens. But because it's still a semi-wild plant, you have to know a few of its old secrets to make it feel at home. And these are not the kind of things you're going to find on the back of a seed packet at the local hardware store. First things first, you'll need to find seeds from specialty heirloom seed companies. Second, and this is the step where most people get tripped up, the seeds have a built-in alarm clock. They need to experience a period of cold, damp conditions before they'll wake up. It's called cold stratification. The easiest way is just to mimic nature. Plant the seeds outside in the fall and let winter do the work for you. Or you can trick them. Fold the seeds into a damp paper towel, seal it in a bag, and just let them chill in your fridge for about 4 to 6 weeks before you plant them in the spring. Now, the king also has a few simple demands. He doesn't want your best, sunniest garden spot. Save that for your tomatoes. He prefers partial shade. The north side of a house, behind a shed, under a fruit tree, that's perfect. And finally, the most important rule of all, you have to be patient. Do not harvest a single shoot or leaf in the first year. I know, it's tough. But let the plant have that full season to get its deep root system established. Trust me, your patience will be rewarded from year 2 onward with decades of food.
So why go to all this trouble, searching for special seeds, waiting a whole year for a harvest? Why bother? Because bringing a plant like Good King Henry back from the edge of being forgotten is about way more than just trying a new vegetable. In a world where our food is getting more and more uniform, this plant represents something vital that we've lost.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? In our race for speed and convenience, we turned our backs on foods that were deeply, resiliently nourishing. We chose the quick and easy option over the one that took a little more knowledge but gave back so much more. We literally traded a plant that acts like a mineral mine in our own backyard for the convenience of a microwave.
So what's the big takeaway here? In a way, planting something like Good King Henry feels like a quiet act of rebellion. It's not just about growing a vegetable, it's about reconnecting with a totally different way of thinking about food and about time. It's a nod to a slower, more resilient way of life. When you put something in the ground that you know could feed your family for decades, something you can share freely with others, it feels like you're reclaiming a little piece of that forgotten wisdom. You're not just planting a seed, you're planting a story in a shady corner of your garden, and you're welcoming a long-lost king back home.